sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help...
Am I the only?
You can call the IT and the D crowd.
Am I the only one that liked the movie? Did we talk about that already?
No, I liked the movie. It was good.
I thought that was a great movie.
They did an okay job.
It wasn't too bad.
Better than Miami Vice.
Miami Vice.
Miami Vice is pretty bad. Are they going to make a sequel to A-Team?
I don't see why not. Nobody died.
Yeah.
And it is Hollywood. They have actually they'll probably just remake the A-Team again.
You know what?
With all new actors.
Right.
You know what movie I saw this weekend and it kind of angered me? I saw Pacific Rim. I rented it. Which is like the Godzilla, like Johnny Sacco. I love Johnny Sacco and Ultraman and all that when I was a kid growing up.
Yeah.
And I said, why didn't they? It was a huge budget. It was well done. I go, why didn't they just make
Transformers?
Why didn't they make either Voltron or Battle of the Planets or Johnny Sacco for real? And instead of like making up a fake thing, like license that, because the movie kind of didn't make sense in a few parts, and that's okay.
I think you answered your own question. Licensing.
Really? How much does Battle of the Planets want to or Voltron? Like, come on.
And I'll form the head.
There's 80s tees. Isolate that. You can get a Voltron hoodie on 80stees.com.
I might have ordered.
Did you order one?
Did you get us all one for Christmas?
No.
I want one.
Loser.
It's not as cool if everybody has one.
You can all wear them together.
I want to start wearing my Cobra Kai. Dave's been wearing his Cobra Kai hoodie from back in the day, and I have one.
Yeah.
Love my Cobra Kai hoodie. All right, so here we are back in the IT and the D show for our fourth and final segment.
You kind of dropped a bomb, Phil.
Well, again, just for giggles. So our phone number is 313-462-0107. Twitter is at IT and the D. Facebook is facebook.com/IT and the D. And just as a quick reminder, our event is Thursday night, Rochester Mills, Rochester Hills, 5 o'clock. There we go. Bob.
Beat it.
And thanks for joining us.
So you kind of dropped a bomb.
Thanks for the call, Dave.
You kind of dropped a bomb when we were walking up and you were saying...
You can't say that on the radio. No.
In the men's room. No. So you had 7 job openings. I'll let you fill in the story, but you had 7 IT job openings for project management.
And 200 interviews.
And how many interviews?
Yeah, 200.
Why would you do 2? I mean...
Well, a couple things. One, we actually have 30 openings in the IT department.
Really?
Okay. And we had kept some of them vacant during the tough economic times, but as we're trying to fill them, the private sector IT world is just booming here in Southeast Michigan. And
it is.
And what they did is they kind of came and raided the middle of the organization. So you have a succession plan. When A retires, then you have B ready to take that slot. Well, the private sector came and took all the Bs because they're the ones.
I was just going to ask you who the they is. The they is the private sector.
Yeah. They came and they took them, and some retired, but most of them went for more salary. I think sometimes that's a little short-sighted because salary plus benefits is where you need to be looking at compensation. And whether they did well or not.
Who thinks like that, though? Yeah. Over the age of 40. Under the age of 40.
Under the age, I was going to say, yeah.
But
under the age,
it's too bad they're not.
They're just looking at
I remember when I worked at a Budweiser distributor when I was...
them, unfortunately.
No, when I was 21 and worked at a Bud distributor, there was a guy that was in his 40s, kept going, hey, man, I'm just here for the benefits. And we're like, you stupid?
Yeah.
But now I'm 40 and I'm like, yeah, that guy was smart. Nobody thinks like that.
But we were out there. We did at least a couple hundred interviews. The problem we had was the people's skills are outdated. When you start interviewing people and you have basic skills and basic requirements for each job, and so we post those and we have people go ahead and apply, and we do phone interviews to start with, and then we bring them in and we really kind of vet them.
Yeah, you've got your minimum qualifications.
You bet.
Phone screenings
But once you get them,
how many applicants? If you had 200 interviews, how many applicants?
Well, we interview every qualified applicant that's required. Okay. So those were the ones that passed the minimum requirements to interview for the job. We interviewed them.
Get to pass the first hurdle.
But think about the effort that we have to put in to go through all those folks. And
whose requirement is that?
That's our county requirement. It's a merit system.
Okay.
So if anyone hires in as a full-time employee, they have to go through an open competitive exam, and that requires an interview by the department and everything. But even looking for contractual people for supplemental staffing, Guys, they're not out there.
Really?
The skill sets are outdated in many cases.
So, like, what kind of skill sets are you looking for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, give me an example.
So the real issue, if you want to take two groups that we're really looking for is mainly in IT leadership. So you have your, supervisor, chief levels of IT organizations. You have your project managers and your application developers. And they're, sometimes I always used to say, well, if I can't hire them, I'll rent them.
We always joke about .NET and mobile dev. Those are the purple unicorns, right? So you were just rattling off positions that aren't necessarily hardcore developer position. I mean, you said app development, but what does that translate to?
We're a .NET shop. We're a .NET shop for the most part. Everything web enabled,
right?
SharePoint.
Okay,
but we also have some client server technologies, and we do still have a little bit of mainframe.
Right.
But I have those folks that I need to support the mainframe.
Yeah, those people aren't going anyway.
No, pretty soon they'll be hard to find.
Well, how do you compete with the public or with the private sector?
Well, there's a couple things. One, we did a survey out there, and we were lacking in salary. So we did a salary study, and we moved some of the salaries in some of our classifications. We added. Here's the real problem: government's salary schedules are very compact. So from the base level to the top level, you may have a 20 to 30% spread. In the private sector, you're looking 50, 60% spread.
Right.
So what happens is at the base level, you're very competitive. You can get the new ones, and you can keep them for a while. But once they get up into the middle of the organization, they get topped out. They can go get more money.
Right. Isn't that the old adage, though, that you work private sector to take the money now, you work for public sector to get the money later?
Yeah, but here's the problem.
Is that still both true?
The question earlier about what's the difference between private sector IT and public sector IT, I still need the IT skills. No matter what that difference is, I need them. And what we've done is we moved the salaries, but here's the real benefit to government, is we do have a good benefit package. And I know that some public sector entities have been hit pretty hard, and there was some laws that changed the teachers and some of the others. But we're self-insured at Oakland County. We paid our bills for a long time.
Yeah.
And we can go ahead and be different in that regard because we are self-insured and we have the money to do what we have to do. So we have competitive benefit packages along with a pretty darn competitive salary now, and it's the quality of life. The other thing, too, is, the private sector can eat them up, chew them up, spit them out. And grind through them.
Breathed it. Yep.
And grind through them.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily have that environment. So we've got the quality of life, the old adage, I can be home for dinner with my kids.
Yep.
We live that, and we try to preach that. Doesn't mean I don't need the work done. That means if you want to work at 2 a.m, I want you to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But the
you
point
want a senior level architect guy? Because
we need those too. I'm going to be.
Yeah, but what county do you live in?
Yeah, doesn't matter where you live. But we are going to be hiring an enterprise architect and a technical architect soon. For
Don't tell Dave that.
We're looking, and it is a good place to work. When a county executive works so hard to make sure that we're financially stable, where the government's around us, we're struggling so mightily for so long, and to be balanced for the next 3 years, there's security. And I'm not saying, hey, you go there, nothing will happen to you. You still got to do your job.
Right.
You still have to be competent because, trust me, we evaluate the people, and if they don't work out, then they can go
Which,
work
again,
somewhere else.
what a novel concept with government positions.
Accountability.
But the recruitment's one thing, but the retention's another. And that's a piece where we have to start thinking about work environment. We have to start looking at schedules, telework, all the things that go along with it. And we're never going to be Google. I'm not going to have a slide.
Well, yeah, you were just
I'm not going to bring my dog.
Yeah, I mean, so the
no
younger
free milkshakes? Come on.
Well, yeah, the younger crowd.
You're never 150 feet away from food. Yeah, I just can't do it. I'm sorry. Or there might be crumbs in the carpet, but that's
or a scooter or a ping pong table or whatever.
I want a scooter.
But I mean, attracting the under 40 crowd, that's the skills gap, right? So you're not going to attract those people because they're not thinking about benefits, the medical benefits, because they're young and healthy, right?
And that's where we have to do a better job of selling that.
Right.
And the other piece of it is they have to understand that we can be innovative in government. There's so much where they think it's government. Why would I go there? I'm just going to
stodgy bureaucracy, never get anything done.
So what are you doing in teleworking these days? Because when I started with the company I'm with now, we had an office in Southfield. It's like, don't worry about it, just stay home. They shipped me out an IP phone, a router, a webcam. They're like, you don't need to come. You know what I mean? They're trying to cut that office back. Are you guys doing the same thing, or is it more?
Well, telework, it's tough for government because the taxpayer doesn't necessarily understand why someone's working from their house.
But does the taxpayer even know or care?
Yeah, but it's the whole perception of someone at home, sitting in their bunny slippers.
Yep. Well, we joke about it all the time.
Yeah. Risky Business Fridays, dress shirt and no pants.
Right.
I don't want to go there. No. But the taxpayer doesn't necessarily get it. Right. But the other thing too is we have we have a merit system which was approved by the voters in the county. So our employment system was actually voted on by the citizens of the county. So to make any changes there, we can do administrative things. Yep. I need to go through and get approval to do that. So what I'm working on now is I have a committee that I've created in IT. I call it the IT Improvement Committee. And I've charged them with saying, how can we change our workspace? In other words, the people that are closest to it.
Make it more attractive.
Yeah.
See, being a teleworker since, 04, 05, I'll argue that I do more and get more stuff done. Working out of my house because
every piece of data shows that.
Yeah.
Every piece of data shows productivity gains.
Yep.
And now the question is, though, how can we still mold productivity gains and those kinds of work environments into a government environment? We're doing it. I've gotten working with my HR people who are very forward thinking, and we're changing it. We're trying. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Yeah, it's not necessarily an IT problem. It's a perception problem, like you said.
Well, as David is driving,
when they see somebody that's not between 12 and 1 during the middle of the day, and they see him at a store, we will get phone calls. So if they have a county vehicle and they pull into McDonald's at 11 instead of noon to 1,
right?
There's people that will complain that the county people are
people have way too much time on their hands.
It's just the way it is.
Now, see, there's a good use for drones. Go find those people.
Follow them around, right?
See, Dave's got to go from the east side to the west side, 696 rush hour. You're killing like 50 minutes of your day to and fro. I mean, to me, that's a huge...
It depends on when I leave.
Yeah, no, I know, but
the point is, it's a colossal waste, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
a waste of your time.
Oh, and there are. I mean, there have been days where, and luckily, I mean, where I work, it's you know what, it's not going to happen. I'm not coming in today. It's not going to work that way.
But it's funny, we were on WebEx today, and the vice president was like, "Is that a TV on in the background, Bob? You want to turn that off for?" I'm like, "No, for me, I needed like background noise just so I felt like
white noise for you." Yeah.
Right. But I'll drive to Cincinnati on Thursday, and I'll get more done on those 4 hours on the road making phone calls.
Yep.
Then the 4 hours.
You send more emails and texts than any other human I've ever seen in my life while driving.
Stop talking. I do.
We have a fast track system in the county that has cameras, so we're watching for people.
No,
that's the one thing we didn't touch on, by the way, since the whole cops utilizing cell phone towers. By the way.
Oh yeah, the whole what was it?
Scanning.
I forget what it was called.
Viper or something.
Stingrays.
Stingrays. Thank you.
Yeah, the whole cell tower thing that they have going on.
What is
We'll get into that next week.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways, good talk.
Yeah, nice.
So
nice segue, Jeff.
So you're saying that they're watching me when I'm?
Yeah. No, they're obviously. I don't know if you know, but we have intelligent traffic systems through our road commission, and they can actually time the lights based on what they're seeing on the video. So they're counting the cars as they're going through the intersection. So
that's been in place for a long time.
Yeah, it has been. Oakland County was the first county.
That's like the early 90s, right?
Yeah, you bet.
I sat in like a 7-minute red light leaving my neighborhood. That's
because no one ever leaves your neighborhood.
I know.
Do you think
so 7 minutes in your time, perhaps?
Right.
Do you think you phased out? It changed and then it changed back?
Probably. I was probably texting it.
He was texting. Yeah, he sent 3 emails.
Sending an email.
He actually wrote 4 blog posts.
Totally.
Yeah, because Evan knows he doesn't read them.
Just yours. Yeah.
All right, so we're getting close to the end of the show here. So before we wrap up, and we talked about the whole recruit and retention thing. What else do you have going on in that area? I mean, so you're looking for the PM space, app dev space, whole bunch of different flavors of app dev. Anything else in that world?
Well, again, the whole leadership piece. Someone said to me, why don't you just get a bunch of kids right out of college and get them working? And I said, yeah, who's going to manage them?
Yeah, have you ever been to a college?
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, right. And so I bring all these folks in. They still need to be led.
Yeah.
And I think...
you don't have scooters and ping pong tables everywhere.
No, I wish.
Shot collars.
Shot
collars also work.
Mine would be a basketball rim, I think.
Yeah, right.
But the thing that's interesting, in that whole world about management is we're not getting people to... It's very difficult to find people with the soft skills. the leadership skills they need to really get in the organization and make a difference.
We hear that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the
IT
technical
people,
skills.
Yeah, IT people don't necessarily have the soft skills.
Right. That's okay though, but the program project managers, they do.
They need
they're a people person.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean that was always part of the conversation. The I'm a schedule project manager versus I'm a people project